and I'm honored to be here today. Our president, Tom Knauer, is tied up. He's out of town with his family, has an obligation, so he's asked me to step in for him today. So I'll be with you for the next hour. If we all grin and bear it together, we'll be done in 60 minutes. So thank you. Okay, so we'll start as we usually do with our Pledge of Allegiance. So ladies and gentlemen, if you could please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent, thank you. And if you'll remain standing, and at this time we'll quiet our hearts and our minds, and we'll welcome Karen Herdlick up to lead us in our invocation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank first Cindy King for stepping up to head the service committee. I'm really excited about the new things we're doing, but it got me to thinking about the Rotary model of service over self, because to me it wasn't really a unique concept. And Mahatma Gandhi said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. But although it's not unique, here's the history. In 1911, the Second Rotary Convention in Portland, Oregon, approved "He profits most who serves best" as the Rotary motto. The wording was adapted from a speech that Rotarian Arthur Frederick Sheldon delivered in the first convention held in Chicago the previous year. Sheldon declared that only the science of right conduct through others pays. Business is the science of human services. He profits most who serves his fellows best. And then all the way at the 1950 Rotary Convention in Detroit, Michigan, two slogans were formally approved as the official mottos of Rotary: "He profits most who serves best" and "Service above self." So in support of our commitment to service above self, I offer the following invocation for today. May our club leadership have wisdom in how to foster service opportunities. May each member have the servant's heart to accept the service opportunities as ways to build goodwill and better friendships. And may the service we provide be beneficial to both our club and our community. Give us each of us a servant's heart so that we can live out the motto "Service above self" in our words and deeds.
Thank you, Karen. Great. Excellent. So folks, you may be seated.
Four-way test.
Four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And now, if it's okay with you, you folks can have your seats. So Steve Bowie is serving as our greeter today. He'll introduce our guests. Steve, we'll start with you, please.
Well, I don't see him in the room, but I got good news from you today that Father Dean is going to join the club from Miracle Church. So congratulations to Father Dean, congratulations to you. And it's good to have Blake back. I know it's been a while, but as far as, and Blake is a Rotarian, but as far as, I didn't see you over there. Please forgive me. There you are.
That's all right.
Would you like to say something?
You know, actually, if I may.
Yeah, please.
So I know that it probably looks like when you come in here that our atrium area is like constantly a mess, but it's actually because we use this space to collect for various charities. So throughout the year at the Annunciation, about 10.5 months a year, we're collecting something for someone because we just feel like it's our job. And my understanding is that last week the club committed to bringing things for Christmas in July, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much. Those things will all be delivered to Stewart's Caring Place later this week to help them maintain their food pantry for families going through cancer treatment. And then the stuff behind that is for the Akron Public Schools. We'll be assembling book bags and sending those to 2 elementary schools in the area that express need. So thank you again for all your support.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Father Dean. And Father, if it's okay with you, I'll take you up on that offer to join the club. I'll personally sponsor you. I'd love to have you with us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Excellent, thank you.
All set.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Steve. Next, did we have any Rotary ambassadors in the last week? Did anyone visit another club or attend a Rotary function? Okay. A few other announcements. Tom has left me a list of happy birthdays, so we'd like to recognize Cheryl, Hugh, and Rick Rogers. Today is their birthday, so happy birthday to those folks. And then tomorrow is Laura Horowitz's birthday. There's also someone else in the club, it's their birthday. I don't know who it is though, because Tom put my name, and it is not my birthday today. So I'm not sure who that is, but whoever it is, happy birthday to you. Related to being a Rotary ambassador, we recently had our district conference, and at our district conference, 2 of our club members were recognized. One of them happens to be here with us today. So Susan Colville Hall, if I may recognize you in front of our club. So if you'll stand, please. So the recognition for today, the District 6630 has recognized Susan Colville Hall for her devotion and invaluable service to our RI events, our short-term chair. So we have a certificate of recognition here for you, Susan. And then in addition to that, we have another certificate thanking you for your service as a RI trainer for District 6630. So ladies and gentlemen, if you'll please join me in thanking Susan. So I'll present these to you, and would you like to share any words about RI and what that means to you?
Well, it's a way to reach the world. If you can imagine that, you know, the country that we live in is so big that it is difficult to, you know, get across borders, speak other languages, speak other, or learn other cultures, and particularly the exchange and working with young people, getting them to cross cultural borders is, you know, something that has inspired me to see them learning and excited about, you know, what they're doing and meeting new people, etc. So it's been really, it's been a pleasure. It hasn't been work at all. Sometimes, maybe. But I've really enjoyed it, and I like to pass the torch a little bit too. So 10 years, and we do have a exchange student who will be coming here from France, and we have a student who's going to France. So we're excited about that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Susan. Okay, so moving along, a few announcements. I'll have your attention. Today is the final day for contributions to the Christmas in July Giving Tree that Father Dean mentioned previously. Thank you to everyone, especially Cheryl Warren, for those contributions. It really does go to a great place at Stewart's Caring Place to do God's work there. So thank you so much. This Thursday, if you can believe it or not, is the final summer cookout at camp. It starts at 6 p.m. Please do bring a friend, enjoy some very good food, and you can spend some time visiting the campers as well as touring the camp. So that's this Thursday at 6 p.m. A few other announcements. So on your tables, we have a few printouts. First, our annual cornhole tournament. This is the 14th year we've done this, which is phenomenal. It's coming up on Saturday, August the 26th. It's presented by the good folks over at Buckeye Corrugated. That will be held at camp. Anyone planning on attending that cornhole tournament that would like to speak to it? Okay, hearing none, we'll keep moving. We also have our End Polio Now game held at Progressive Field. I know Stu Buchanan, big Tribe fan, big Guardians fan, and also instrumental to putting on this game. Stu, would you like to share a little bit about our Rotary District Night to End Polio at Progressive Field?
Well, we're getting close now. It's only the 17th, so it's a little over 2 weeks away. If you can sign up soon, because we're going to run out of tickets for the Terrace Club. That's on the 17th. Terrace Club, we're going to march a parade on the field before the game. We'll have some raffles, and as part of that, I have raffle tickets that are $10, 3 for $20 to be a Paul Harris Fellow or throw out the first pitch. So see me, I need you to buy some of these. This is our big fundraiser for the End Polio Now. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Stu. Yeah, I think they play the Tigers that night too, so they should have a good chance of winning. It'll be an important pennant race. Okay. All right, next on your tables, I got to tell you, I think I've been to 4 or 5 Italian festivals in Summit County in the last month. So there's many Italian festivals. However, there is only one Greek festival, and it's held right here. So that is coming up September 21st through the 23rd here at Annunciation. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Show of hands, anybody been to the Greek festival before? Yeah, phenomenal. Father Dean, of course, has been there. So any information, please do check out the printed materials we have available for you. It'd be nice if we could organize a Rotary Day at the Greek festival. Okay, next, scheduling update, August 15th. So our regular August 15th meeting has been canceled, and instead we are pleased to be hosting the new president-elect of Rotary International, Stephanie Rockstroh, at the Rotary Camp. So that is going to be on Friday, August the 18th. Details of that event are currently in the Akron, the Acrotarian newsletter. Pre-registration is required. We all should have received an email from Terry with the sign-up links. I know all plan on being there. It is certainly a huge honor having the president-elect of Rotary International in our presence. So hope you guys can join me in being there on the 18th. Any questions about that event, please?
Can I add something?
Yes, of course.
Yes, there is very limited space, so please do register because it is going out now to others in the district. And that I'm just getting ready to look up how many spaces are left. So I do encourage you to go out as soon as possible. It will not let you register if it is full.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome, Cheryl. Thank you so much.
30 spaces left. I was just in there.
Okay. So we have some breaking news. Cindy Kane was just able to look this up. We have about 30 spots left, and those are going to go quickly. So if you guys can please do your best to sign up early. Okay, coming up, another club event, August the 12th. We have our annual Dragon Boat Race. Brian Casarco is our team captain. Dave Hall, who's our featured speaker today, he happened to, I think, text me and Dr. Rob. We were on the front page of the Beacon Journal. So very cool to see that. It was our 2019 Dragon Boat team. I unfortunately will, yeah, I know. Very cool. I think you get fined for being on the front of the paper. So. It's an awesome event. Brian Casarco is our team captain. They're still looking for volunteers.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been working closely with Ryan on that, and he says I can't talk to him unless I have a picture of his toes in the sand. But we're full. We actually filled the boat. So we have the paddlers that we need, and all we need now is support. And if you want to help us go up against, I think it's Myers Industry who always donates the most money. Mm-hmm. We would appreciate any donations. Brian has a link for the donations. But it's going very well, and we're excited, and we will do our best.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, best of luck.
Not be on the front page like Kane, but whatever.
Yeah, well, I want to say, Dave, that year that was 2019. I think we finished what, second overall? Yeah, that was pretty good. And I almost had to go to ER, so it's a fun day. Okay, a couple more announcements, then we'll get into Happy Dollars. Pours to End Polio. So P-O-U-R-S, pours of beverages, Pours to End Polio. Several upcoming Thursdays. Details about these events can be found in the Akron Acrotarian newsletter. Just a reminder to our board, there's a meeting next week at 11 a.m. So it's not at 10:45, it's at 11 a.m. here at the church. And unless there are any other announcements, we can proceed with Happy Dollars. Okay, so with that, Steve, are you willing to collect today?
Absolutely.
All right, Rotary, who's happy?
I'll sing to him.
Do I need the mic or we're good?
It's up there.
First of all,
Yeah, press the buttons. Yeah, it's on.
There we go.
All right, on behalf of our Rotary Youth Exchange Committee for the club, I'm happy to announce that we've got final details on the arrival for our inbound student from France, Maëlle Goris. She's arriving on August 16th in Cleveland at 5:19 p.m. Many of you know that my son was an outbound student to Korea, and he was very impressed, and I'll share with you a picture of his arrival at the Seoul airport, where you see a number of club members along with his host family and a nice banner welcoming him to Korea. I would love, and I think our committee would love, if we could have a group of folks to volunteer to greet Mael at the airport, and I will arrange to get a similar banner to welcome her to Korea, which will be interesting and hopefully confuse her a bit. But next week, I will have a sign-up sheet to see if we can have folks. Maybe we can carpool. Maybe we can then, Mael will go home with her host parents, but maybe the group of us can maybe have a refreshing drink afterwards. Thank you.
So how much are you giving for Happy Dollars?
How much you need?
Let's go 5, how's that?
Yeah.
I'm not that happy. You're giving two.
Thank you. Who else is happy? David Hall. Here you go.
So I have 3 happy dollars. First one is I'm happy that Tiffany was able to join me today and speak on about trust and what we do. Second happy dollar is for the dragon boat and that great picture we had. That was of Thane before Thane paddled so hard at that dragon boat race that he broke the paddle in half and busted himself in the mouth and broke a tooth. So I think that was pre-denture work, but yeah, so he was a great reason we, I think, won, or did very well then.
Yeah, I played through the injury.
He did. He finished, but he didn't come back after that. He has not been back. But anyhow, my third happy dollar is for the cornhole tournament. I had a mouthful when Thane asked for it, but the cornhole tournament is a blast. I've been every year. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Arizona this year, so I'll miss it. But if you have an opportunity to go, Tiffany even joined me one year. It's a great tournament. It's a great place to have the tournament out at camp, and it's just a lot of fun. So if you're able to go, I brought my neighbors, I think, last year, and my neighbor couldn't even get the bag to the board on the other side. So it doesn't really matter. We all had a great time, had some drinks and laughs. So if you can go, I encourage you to go.
Thank you, David. Anyone else? Mr. John. Good to see you, brother.
Okay. The first thing I want to mention is, Thane, you need to go as many Italian festivals as you can find. Fantastic for it, okay? We just, Mary and I just spent the weekend with the grandkid and in Nashville, Tennessee. We had a great time. It was very hot, and but we still made it through the zoo and everything. It was just an absolute joy to see him. He's just starting to take his first steps and walk, to be resilient about that. It was just absolute joy. We had a great time watching him, so it was fantastic. It was great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else happy? Miss Cindy.
You're welcome, Steve. Fellow Rotarians, I'm really excited about the energy that is already coming to me for service projects in the next year. Spent 45 minutes on the phone with Sandy. We are getting it together. I talked to Mark Seward this morning, and there's a lot of energy, and we're going to get a lot done, and we're going to have goals for you very soon, and we look forward to seeing you in the field. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Anyone else has a moving across the room here? Miss Mella.
I have 2 happy dollars.
David, thank you for your plug, and we'll miss you this year at the cornhole tournament. So if you guys could come up, please come out. It is so much fun, and the committee works hard, and it's a great day at Rotary Camp. I also wanted to thank, we had many Rotarians come and join us last Thursday. So Thane, thanks for mentioning that this Thursday is our last event. Mike Shear was there, Jenny was there, Jerry was there, Jim Redmond was there, Julie Brandel was there. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss anybody. Or Horvitz was there, Roger and Sally Reed were there. So we had such a great showing. And then we, if you can't make Thursday, just come out this week, just stop by, really, please. I know our 3 Rotarians from Buckingham Doolittle Burroughs are coming out next week. They're going to miss seeing the campers, but they want to come out and tour camp. So please do.
Thank you, Miss Mella. Bill Jr.
Well, I have a sad dollar. I have a sad one.
I'm booked the next 4 Thursdays in a row, which totally stinks. But this is a good reason. My son graduates Friday, the oldest. So the first one's off the payroll. He's got his job lined up.
I don't think they're off the payroll, but he's getting there. And he's going to stay in Cincinnati. He got a job down there, so we're keeping him at least in the state, about as far as he can be, but he's still in the state.
Thank you. Anyone else out here for Happy Dollars? I actually have two. One of them is for Susan. I've been in the club, but I think this is my 8th year. And right from the get-go and getting to know Susan, she has a huge heart for youth. And obviously with having been a teacher at the university and all that she's done with RILA, what she's done with the international students, what she's done with helping get our Interact Club go at North and such. So thank you, Susan. One other thing, if you're a friend of hers on Facebook, you're going to notice that she is an avid reader and she's continually learning and developing and all of that. And kudos to you, because may that be an encouragement to all of us. There is so much to learn and so many good things happening. So thank you. And may we be blessed to find someone else that would step up and take over the responsibilities of dealing with our youth. So I know we have many people who are active in a number of different programs and service projects and stuff, but listen to your heart. Are you going to take that? Are you stepping into it? No? Okay. I just saw a little dialogue going on. I'm not trying to put any pressure, so forgive me. But we need the right person with the right heart that feels called to do this. Lastly, I want to comment on this. Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Jacinto.
Yeah,
The check has been written.
Yes.
Well, forgive me, but congratulations. All right. All right. That's outstanding. Lastly, I want to make a comment that Cindy brought up earlier when you were talking about having the president-elect internationally that's coming to the camp on that Friday, which I think is what, the 18th?
Yes, yeah,
Friday the 18th. We need to fasten our seatbelts, Akron. By having this woman come in, we're going to another level. I want you to hear that. I mean, we're having the president, the international president-elect that's coming out to the camp and is going to be able to experience the magic that takes place out there. And really, if you look at it, it is magical because there's no one else in the country doing what we've been blessed to do. So, 30 slots are open, and I would encourage you, if any of that kind of plays to your own personal desires and such, sign up for that, because I don't think we're going to have a problem filling that room. But we're going to go to a whole nother level, and Akron's about ready to pop for all the right reasons. And so I just want to encourage you on that. So, all right.
Excellent. And I'll wrap it up. I've got $5 myself. Just want to echo Steve's words. Congratulations to Susan. Very happy for you. Also very happy for Mela and the camp staff. It feels like it was just yesterday that we were out at camp in the late spring, getting ready for spring cleanup, welcome to campers. Now we're approaching the end of summer. So very happy for you and the team. Job well done. Happy for Father Dean. I'm going to make sure you follow through on that promise to join our club. So thank you for being a great host for us here at the church. And then lastly, Blake and John, happy for you guys. Thank you so much for being with us. I know as professionals, there's just been so much going on in the last couple of years with the pandemic, everything like that. Pray for John. He is an accountant. I know that's very difficult work, but very happy to have you guys with us today. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will welcome our speakers, Tiffany Rockstroh and David Hall. And unfortunately, Dr. Kiefer is out today. She's asked me to just read a couple snippets from their bio. So we'll start with Tiffany, and then we'll go to Dave. So Tiffany presently serves as the president of the Preferred Legacy Trust Company. She started her career in the finance industry in 1999, where she developed a knack as a branch turnaround specialist, turning non-producing branches into profitable sales machines. Her present role at Legacy Trust has allowed her to focus on what she does best, which is serving and taking care of clients. Her team works for clients as a conduit to their financial partners, so they work with many different partners. Generally, they work with high net worth clients to simplify their everyday life, take into consideration the client's full balance sheet, while working to increase their wealth. Tiffany is very actively involved in the community, is currently a member of Women's Impact Group and the treasurer of the Jackson Township Rotary Club. And if I'm reading this correctly, you are a glutton for punishment because you're a 2-time president of Jackson Rotary. Oh my gosh. So God bless you for your service. And then also our very own Dave Hall. So a quick word about Dave. That demeanor right there is one of the reasons why he was voted our Rotary Unsung Hero immediately before the pandemic. Dave is presently a vice president of Legacy Trust. He has over 32 years of experience in the banking industry, worked for both regional banks and community banks, covering various financial service positions. For more than 20 years, he's been developing solid relationships with high income and high net worth individuals to provide financial advice and service that meets their needs. Certainly very actively involved in the community. David serves on a number of community and nonprofit boards, and most famously, he serves on the board for your Rotary Club of Akron, Ohio. So welcome, David and Tiffany.
This is my job.
Well, thank you so much for having us. I was excited to get up here and tell you guys that I also was a Rotarian, but stole my thunder. So, I've been part of the Jackson Rotary for about 19 years. I felt when I was out doing a lot of community work, and a friend of mine invited me to come to lunch. He said, I really feel like you're going to fit in this club. And when I got there, I kind of felt like I had gone home. To a place where people had the same similar concepts of wanting to make our community a better place. So it was really a great fit for me. And I love Rotary and I love my Rotary family. So I'm excited to be here to present to you guys today. So thank you so much for having us. Before I start, I wanted to let you all know I am not an attorney. And there are several attorneys in this room, I believe, if I'm correct. So I want to point out that I'm not an attorney. This presentation was written by an attorney. So I'm just copying his information and telling you guys. So I'm not giving legal advice. I don't want to be portrayed as giving any type of legal advice. We're just here to tell you a little bit about our company and then some important things to everybody. So to start, there are some basic documents that every adult who is over the age of 18 needs. Those are a healthcare power of attorney. This document allows you to designate somebody to make decisions for you if you are no longer able to make those decisions. Extremely important document. And for those of us who are parents and you have children who are of 18, 19, 20 years old, you think, oh, nothing's going to happen to them. This stuff happens. Things happen. You need to have a healthcare power of attorney for your adult children. Advanced Directive or Living Will, they change names all the time, so they go back and forth. That's essentially you telling the doctors and the caretakers who are taking care of you what your wishes are if you get to some terminal states. So again, super important, but it's separate than a healthcare power of attorney. A general will. Everybody, no matter how few assets you have, needs a will. A durable a durable power of attorney, that's a financial power of attorney form. So this is going to allow somebody to sign your checks to pay your bills if you are not able. And then some people need a trust. We're in the trust business, so we're going to talk about that. But not everybody needs a trust, but some people do. But what I want to tell you is we don't write these documents. All of our partners in the community, all of the attorneys that we work with, they all write the documents for our clients. So there's no conflict of interest. We're not out here writing documents telling people what to do. We're just saying that everybody who is over the age of 18 needs all of these things. Super important. If you get nothing else out of today, make sure you have these. And somebody, even more important, in your family knows where they're at. Okay, we're ready. With that said, so I said that some people need a trust, right? Why do people create trusts? Usually they create a trust because they want to create a legacy for their family. They want their family to remember them for whatever reason it is. They like to avoid probate. I don't know if has anybody ever settled an estate? Gone through probate? Okay, the attorneys, yeah. Is it fun? Yeah, many. It's not fun, is it? So probate court is a nightmare. So if you create a trust, it could avoid probate. It allows the grantor control over your assets. Now, I hate to admit this in public, but I'm going to admit it. I happen to be a control freak. So for me, to know that why my children can spend the money that I've worked my entire life saving and what they can spend it on is super important to me, because I don't want my daughter to go out and buy a brand new Porsche when she gets money when I pass away. I want her to be able to be fiscally responsible. So putting those controls in place is super important to me. Taxes, capital gains, federal, state tax, there are all different reasons why a trust could avoid some of those. Structure for your beneficiary. So if you have a child who's a minor, you have a child who has special needs, you have a child with social issues. And we see this one more and more and more often than not. And we were just talking about a client on the way in who has a drug addiction problem, and their family has created a trust to help them remain sober, and we administer that for them. Liability, sometimes trusts can protect you from liability such as divorce or creditors. And then if you have a family asset that is really important to your family, such as a farm or maybe a closely held business interest, that you want it to remain within your family. Those are all reasons why people create trusts. And every trust is different. Every trust is uniquely written. So it all depends on you and your individual situation and what you want to have happen. So we are the Preferred Legacy Trust Company. We're an independent trust company who is headquartered in Starr County. We started in January of 2020. I don't know if anybody remembers January of 2020. It was a great time to start a small business. We've been in this industry for about 27 years now, working for some different local institutions. And we found ourselves, after merger and acquisition, working for an institution that we just weren't super excited about. So my partner and I, my business partner and I, Denise Pence, stepped out and said we were going to start our own trust company. We found a partner in a company that's called Carr, Riggs & Ingram, which is a local CPA firm out of Alabama, I should say a national CPA firm out of Alabama, they were looking to start a trust company for their clients. So we partnered with them, we went through the regulatory process, and we opened our doors in January 2020. We shut them down March 5th of 2020, so it was really a fantastic year for us. But fortunately, we had a really large book of business that we were able to spend that entire first year transitioning from our previous institution. So it worked out okay at the end of the day. So we spend our time really visiting our clients all across the United States. We have two offices in Ohio, one in St. Clairsville and then one in Starr County. We have an office in South Carolina, Charleston, Atlanta, Florida, and Texas. And our growth markets are really the bottom part of the United States, but we will always be headquartered in Ohio because we know Ohio trust law. We understand Ohio trust law and we're very familiar and we love it. So that's why we will always be headquartered in Ohio. We're currently licensed in 17 states. And again, we're expanding throughout the bottom part of the United States. So what do we do? That's the big question, because we try to figure that out every day, because every day seems to be a little bit different for us. Every client scenario is different and every family is different, so it makes it unique when you're dealing with families. Essentially, when you create a trust or an estate plan, you have to choose who your trustee is. We serve as that trustee for clients. So we serve as trustee for revocable or irrevocable trusts. We can serve as a trustee for a 401k plan. We do serve as executor for wills for a client who doesn't have anybody to serve in that capacity. We do a lot of family office or a lot of family stewardship services, which are bill payment services, helping them to get a plane loan, helping them to manage their plane or their yacht, paying family payroll, different
whole host of different things. We serve as agent under investment advisory accounts. We do not manage assets. So if there's any financial advisors out here, are there any?
No,
Okay. We don't manage assets. So we don't actually buy stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. We work with other advisors who do to manage the client's money. We oversee that process. We don't necessarily manage or do that ourselves. We will serve as durable power of attorney for our clients. So if a client does not have somebody who can sign for them, if they are not able to, we will step in and fill that role. We do not serve as healthcare power of attorney. That's where the line has to be drawn. We have a lot of self-directed IRAs. So inside of your IRA, a traditional IRA or 401k plan, you have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash. That's normal, right? Well, every once in a while, somebody gets an idea that they want to do something unique inside of their IRA, like buy a piece of real estate or buy into a business. We can help them with that. Dave actually is the expert there, so I'm looking at him because I'll get way over my head. We do a lot of bank advisory. So we mentioned in our past lives we were bankers. So Dave and I spent a lot of time trying to help clients place loans for unique situations. We are not a bank. We have a bank charter, but we're not a bank, so we don't lend money. But we know the ins and outs of banks. So we spend all of our time finding the right solution for the client and delivering that to them. We do a lot of bill payment services, and then we also act for agent for charitable giving. So we have a lot of clients who have a lot of philanthropic needs and wishes, and we serve in that capacity for them as well. So why preferred legacy? There's a lot of trust companies, very unique that you are a trust company and you don't manage assets. So I'm going to throw that out there. That's the first thing that makes us unique. We don't manage assets. We will work with most financial advisors. When you work with a financial advisor, they create a investment policy statement that says, this is how we're going to invest our assets. We oversee that to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, and then we let them do their job of managing the assets. We manage the trust distributions. We have the expertise to handle unique assets. We hear all the time that this local institution, I'm not going to bring up names, they refused a trust because the trust had unique assets in it, such as a family farm or a business or a piece of real estate. And the trust companies want stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and nothing other than that. And we feel that every part of your estate, all of your assets belong inside of your estate plan in some way, shape, or form. And so we will help you to manage those unique assets. And our local experience. So we don't believe in 1-800 numbers. We don't have a call center. If your account gets below a minimum threshold, we're not going to push you off to a 1-800 number. You're always going to have a contact and a backup for all of our clients. That's how we designed our company, and we said we would never do a 1-800 number. Okay, keep going here. So the other question that we get a lot, or we hear a lot, is I'm just going to name a family member. This happens a lot, and it sometimes works out really well, but sometimes it doesn't work out so well. When you name a professional trustee, you allow your family the time to grieve and to mourn your death instead of having to immediately step up and do all of these financial things. And I just learned that actually the last month because I was my dad's executor and he passed away. It's not fun. You really need that time and you don't get it. Dave did the same for his dad. It just kind of bypasses it. The rest of your family's over there mourning and you're like, okay, I've got to do this and I've got to do this. And you just step right into that role. Professional trustees are unbiased. So we look at the document, we read the document, and we administer it exactly the way it says. I'm not an aunt or an uncle, and I don't have a special place in my heart for somebody. So there's nobody pulling on my strings on my heart to say, oh, but look, they really need the money for that. It's whatever the document says is how we're going to administer it. We have the knowledge and expertise to know the rules, the regulations, the laws that change constantly. Most of your family members may not have that, some may. And a professional trustee also adds a layer of protection around your assets. So if you're being sued, we read the document says what we can give a distribution for. Sorry, we're not gonna give that. No, you had a car accident and you're gonna get sued for it. We're not gonna pay out because that's not what the trust is there for. We are regulated. Most family members aren't regulated by the OCC or the state of Ohio. So it gives a layer of protection to know that there are somebody over top of us watching our clients' accounts, making sure that we're not doing anything that we shouldn't be doing. We have a rich network of advisors. So I mentioned that we work with all the local attorneys in town to craft documents for our clients, also CPAs. When our clients have a need, we have a rich network of advisors that we can go to help them. And again, it just gives a peace of mind knowing that we're going to be there when you pass to handle your affairs. We're not going to move away. We're not going to retire as a company. I may, but our company is not going to do that. So it gives our clients a peace of mind to know that there is some stability in their estate plan. So why prefer legacy over a different trust company? The focus remains on the client and not the size of the account. I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with a trust company that is local here to Summit County, but most trust companies start at $3 million and up. If you don't have $3 million, they won't talk to you. That may actually have even jumped to $5 million in the last couple of years. $3 million was probably about 10 years ago. We don't have a minimum account size. We really say it's really a client need. So we will make it work for the client. We are willing to hold unique assets where most trust companies will not. We believe in that local experience. Again, everybody has 2 relationship managers. Dave and I work together on most of our client relationships. We are available for in-person meetings. We're not headquartered in Missouri or St. Louis or anywhere else that some of the headquarters are. And again, we work with most financial advisors and attorneys and CPAs. We allow your family's advisors to stay in place while we serve as trustee. That's it. So what questions do you guys have, whether it be about the 5 documents that every adult needs to have and should have, or if it's about our company?
Sandy?
So if you already have a will and all of that, not a trust, the part I'm not understanding, so how do you step in and help? You would be the one who, is like the executor of all that stuff?
Yes. If currently today, you probably have your husband, right, is your executor, and then somebody else after that, right? We fill in that somebody else after that. Generally speaking, spouses are each other's executors because there's really nothing to do, right? So it's when that second person passes, so we can serve as that executor role. Mm-hmm.
And how are you paid?
We're paid by assets under management, so it's a percentage, and every client scenario is a little different, so I don't want to throw out a number, but I can tell you that our basis points start at 0.75 and go down depending on what we're doing for somebody.
And so is that stepped up when things are actually in play? When someone does pass away, then obviously you have a bigger role to play, but while your assets are under management, you get paid what, monthly or yearly or?
Monthly, mm-hmm, based upon the yearly fee, which is 0.75. But that's a great question. So if a client selects us as successor trustee, so they're their current trustee because they're alive and they're able to take care of their finances, they're in good health, everything is great. But someday they know that that may not be the case and they say, would you serve in that role for us when something happens? We just sit on the sideline. We're in your document, we're written in there. We sit on the sideline. If you want to have an annual meeting to tell us any updates, we'll certainly encourage that. But we just sit there and wait. And there is no fee for us to do that. And then at the end of the day, when the time is right and we step in, that's when our fee begins.
We don't get paid until we actually serve as, in some capacity, wherever that may be named in the document. Does that make sense?
Yes, but in the beginning, you'll look into someone's situation and perhaps make suggestions about what they could be doing better or differently.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. So we have, like Tiffany mentioned, we have an attorney, not practicing, he's not writing documents, but he is an attorney, and yeah, he can serve as guidance for that.
Yeah, he can review a document, kind of lay out, I know when you read a trust document, sometimes they're very convoluted and very complex. So he just lays out for you a really nice summary of this is what's going to happen when I pass. These are where my distributions are going to go, or this was what the trust is going to have happen. And these are who's going to fill the role for you. An estate plan is a document that is forever changing because your lifestyle changes, your life cycle changes, people pass away. So it's really important that you review your estate plan, you get with your attorney annually or every couple of years to make sure that it's current, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. None of us do. So it's super important that you have that estate plan up to date. Sure.
So I think you said you guys were in 17 states.
We're licensed in 17 states. Yes.
Which one's the best to do business in? Which one's the worst?
Ohio, Florida.
The best.
Ohio's the best.
Ohio's the best.
Florida's the worst.
Why is Florida the worst?
They just have a lot of regulatory power. I would say their regulatory powers are rough. Yeah. And I forget what year it was, but there was an interstate banking agreement that allowed banks to do business in any state. All but 4 states signed it. Florida is one of them. And they are by far, Florida and California are the 2 worst to do business in. And we can still do business in there. We just can't be named by a court to serve as trustee. Yes.
How is your unique model in establishing trust for families being currently received since 2020 in light of the traditional trust establishment approach?
That's a great question. Well, I think if I'm answering this correctly, what you're asking me is how are we doing since 2020?
That was kind
okay.
of, yeah.
That's a great question. So since 2020, when we opened our doors, we have about $850 million in assets under advisement, management, however you want to call it, that we collect fees on. So we've grown to almost $1 billion corporation, and still growing actively and looking to take on clients. And as I mentioned, we have offices in several different states. So we are still expanding, and we hire trust officers who serve in those roles for us in the different states.
And to piggyback on top of that, would it be fair to say that the way that you have established this is with a very high commitment to service?
It's a high commitment to service.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is, yeah, one of our selling factors is, and again, she said in the beginning, she's a bit of a control freak. If I misdial or butt dial Tiffany and hang up even before it rings, she will see it on her phone and she'll call me back as soon as she's able, whether that's 5 minutes or an hour later, and say, did you need me? What's going on? You all right? I'm like, I'm fine. Misdial, sorry. But yeah, I mean, we're very big on communications and service, and really, one of the other mottos we have is kindness. I mean, we treat everybody with kindness.
As a trustee, there are a lot of times when you have to say no. And you can say no, and you can say no and be mean, but you can also say no, and this is why, or this is how we could maybe help you. So it's all about delivery and how you deliver it to a client that matters.
I've got actually 2 questions. So one is 2 completely different scenarios, and I'm going to speak without giving too much detail, just because of some stuff. So the first one is so my brother-in-law, he just redid his estate planning, everything, owns multiple companies, asked me to be the executor on that one. And so that scenario is God forbid something happens to them and the responsibility then comes down to me, like you just spoke about. Do you guys do anything ever after the fact? It was, hey, I'm the executor of this, but I'm now looking to
resign.
Yeah.
To get help. Can I come to you, that type of scenario? That's part of one. You can answer that if you want.
Sorry. Yeah. roles that you serve in the estate plan, you have the ability to say, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And either hire somebody to help, so a co-executor, or somebody to take over for you.
And that's like I'm saying, like this would be after the fact, like it's
Yes.
time to execute it.
Yes, he's already passed, and now it's your turn to step in, and you're like, holy crap, I didn't realize how big of a job this was,
Right.
what all I was gonna have to do. Absolutely, you can hire somebody to do that for you.
Okay.
Family
So
may
part
not.
two is the call it the opposite. So I'm also, my wife and I are executors of somebody else's will, okay? I'm in banking as well, so we're talking to them about trusts and the importance. They don't see the value whatsoever. And we're trying to explain as they're getting older and maybe some liabilities, talk about if something happened to this one individual and the other one was left, obviously it's not necessarily like the spouse is still there, right? But there could be creditors coming after whatever's left over, and she might not even be aware of what he was doing behind the scenes. So we're trying, like, I think this kind of goes off of Cindy's question. So if we bring somebody to you guys, like, you have the free consultation, the conversation, the story of how important this is, specific to like those examples, and is that something you guys do, whether they choose to understand it or not?
Yes, so we sit down with the client, we try to get to know their scenario, understand their scenario. We have like an estate planning guide that kind of guides them through. These are all the things that you need to get together for your attorney. So your attorney is going to need all of these things, and these are all the things that you need to think about. So it just kind of helps guide them to get to the attorney to write the documents. Elderly people in particular have a tendency to they don't trust. They just have trust issues. And so I think that sometimes people feel that family is trying to lead them down the wrong path to maybe steal their money from them before it's ahead of time. But the truth of the matter is, we just don't want to pay 40% to the IRS. So you want them to get their estate in line so that they don't have to do that. So we talk to them about that, absolutely. There is a role that's inside your estate plan. It's called a trust protector. And that individual it's not the trustee. It's somebody who can help the trustee if there's questions about family dynamics, if there's a change in the law and the trust needs to be amended, if there's just something in the trust that needs to be amended for whatever reason, the trust protector is like an extra backup plan. Again, he's not there and he's not making day-to-day decisions, but he's there as a backup to your family, who can also remove the trustee if the trustee isn't serving their fiduciary duty.
Protectors can kind of be like the family historian and kind of give background information to the trustee to help them make good decisions.
And I think it's like, to your point, you talk about how there's a lot of people that think unless you're a millionaire or multi-millionaire to the trust, whereas when I had my first son 13 years ago, our attorney's like, hey, I know you're young, but everything you listed, including the trust, the state level, we don't have a huge estate, but we have all of that in place. We're trying to explain to 75-year-olds the importance that you've never had one, like they just got the will. So it's like the times have changed. You need something.
Yes.
When it comes to charitable giving in the past, you work with your clients to help them identify types of organizations to donate to, or do you want to let them come to the organizations to donate?
It depends on what role we're serving. If we're on a foundation board with our clients, so we have a couple of clients that have their own family foundation, and we do then bring opportunities to them to invest, or to give, I should say, not to invest.
All right, last question.
Go ahead.
So you don't actually play a role in deciding this money?
We play the role of reading the paper and saying, John said she gets 10%, she gets 10%, or this charity gets 25%, we give out that 25% with regulatory oversight, which I think is super important. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tiffany, thank you guys so much. Well, thank you both. So looking forward to the next 2 weeks. We heard from the for-profit community today. Next week, we'll be hearing from the nonprofit community. Kyle Kudichief, who's the program director for the Akron market for the Knight Foundation. He'll be speaking here at the church next Tuesday, which is August 8th. And just a reminder, the week after that, we will not be meeting on Tuesday the 15th. We'll be at the camp on Friday, August 18th. So before we ring the bell, I heard we had a pretty good raffle ticket sale today, pretty good lottery. So Steve, do you want to have some?
I don't know if I call it pretty good, but.
How much do we have, $5?
We're just shy of that. We're at $4.
$4. Okay. Tiffany, would you mind pulling a winner for us?
You're gonna have to read the number.
All right. Well, put that up. I'm going to read this, but I want to make a comment. Tiffany won the Daily Double today. No, and this is what I mean. We found out that she is a Rotarian for 19 years, two-time president down in Jackson. And frankly, she could have not had a better setup person than David Hall. And what I mean by that is we know him intimately by who he is as a man and the character of how he is functioning in so many roles. So thank you both for such an outstanding presentation today. So our winner for a big hearty $4 is if you have ticket 219816.
Sorry, Steve. It was the one you almost cheated me out of.
But I didn't. And look how it paid off.
Thank you for that.
All right, you're welcome. And here you.
You went 5 more times in my list.
That's right. But let me have you pick a card first to see, because we know that, was it you won last week or 2 weeks ago? All right, we'll pick a card first. She wins everything. The 6 of spades. All right. Well,
very good. Thanks for playing, Cindy.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce this meeting is adjourned.